was a cold Arizona evening, November 5th, 1975. Not a cloud in the sky. Down at the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, 22-year-old lumberjack Travis Wilson and his 6 co-workers were running behind on the project. They decided to work on through the night to make the deadline. Late into the evening, when the group had finally caught up with their workload, they returned to their van and set off for the nearest town, Snowflake. Mid-route, they were stopped in their tracks by a mysterious glow that emanated from beyond the trees that lined the road. The group pulled the van over to the side of the road. Eventually they saw it and couldn't believe their eyes. The light appeared to be coming from some sort of disc that was suspended in mid-air no further than 30 meters ahead of them. Curiosity got the better of Travis, and he left the van and began walking towards the mysterious disc. The others remained inside, shouting and urging for Travis not to go any further. According to the eyewitness accounts of the men in the van, as Travis reached the object, it began to pendulum from side to side, while making a thunderously loud, almost turbine-sounding noise. Travis stopped walking forward and began slowly stepping back towards everyone. It was too late. The disc emitted a pure beam of light that hit Travis. He rose from the ground, and as if in slow motion he was placed back on the ground, but lay down motionless. His co-workers ran away in panic, not thinking to grab Travis first. Roger would later tell authorities that he thought the disc was pursuing them. Due to the high state of emotion running through the van, Roger managed to swerve off the road and crash the van. After deliberating what to do, the co-workers decided to go back for Travis. When getting back to where they'd left him, they found that he was missing. He was nowhere to be found, along with the disc. Of course, after recounting their story to the local police, the officers in question were skeptical and asked if they'd been drinking. The officers only became interested when the men urged for further help due to Travis still being missing. The following day, the mysterious disappearance of Travis Wilson had gained media attention. Reporters and ufologists both descended upon Snowflake, alongside members of the general public. Volunteers began to comb the area for Travis. The police stepped up their presence with helicopters, mounted officers, and sniffer dogs. The police had no doubt that this was a murder investigation, and not something otherworldly. They were convinced the men had killed Travis, and were attempting to cover their tracks. They requested each worker to take a polygraph test. Each and every one of them denied harming Travis, denied knowing where his body was, and insisted they saw a UFO that must have kidnapped their friend. All lines of questioning came back as telling the truth. This excited the ufologists immensely. After almost a week, just before midnight, Travis's sister received a phone call. This is Travis. I'm in a phone booth at the Heber gas station. I need help. Come and get me. The woman and her husband got in the car and rushed straight over to Heber. They found Travis laying on the floor, delirious and muttering incoherently to himself, and dressed in the same clothes he disappeared in. Upon questioning, Travis reported that the last thing he remembered was the beam of light hitting him. When he awoke, he found himself lay out on a metal platform, a bright overhead lamp glaring down at him. It didn't take long to notice that he was not alone in the room. Getting himself to his feet, Travis managed to push one of the beings to the side and screamed at the others to stay away from him. Turning around, Travis noticed a glass cylinder. Grabbing it, he held it towards the beings, defending himself as if it were a weapon. Edging towards the door, he found himself in a long corridor. And at the end of the corridor was a large spherical room with a chair in the center. He was in immense pain. With nowhere else to rest in the room, he sat down in the chair. As soon as Travis sat in the chair, the ceiling and walls filled with lights and symbols, similar to the stars and constellations he was aware of. An opening appeared in a control panel on the armrest, and some sort of lever protruded out of it. Pulling back on it, the stars around the ceiling began to rotate around him. Travis began to spook and stood from the chair. As soon as he rose, the lights on the ceiling and walls disappeared. He felt a hand rest on his shoulder. He was thankfully met with a human figure in a blue jumpsuit. He tried to ask the man questions, but got no response. The man took his arm and signaled for him to follow. Leading him down the corridor, they came to a steel ramp into a large open hall. In this place were several disc-filled vehicles lined up in a parked garage. The man beckoned to Travis to follow and led him into a side room where two more men and a woman, dressed similar to this stranger, were waiting. As Travis looked around the room, the two men suddenly held him still, while the woman put some sort of oxygen mask over his face. It didn't take long for Travis to lose his consciousness. When he awoke, he found himself at the Heber gas station. He managed to call his sister asking for help before losing consciousness again. Just as his vision faded to black, he watched as a UFO flew overhead and disappeared. A few years later, a number of people came forward, saying that they too had seen the beam of light, or the disc in the sky, but were urged by an unknown agency to keep quiet. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened in the small town of Snowflake. All we can be certain of is this won't be the last time we'll hear about these kind of sightings. Who knows? They may already be among us.